Hey everyone, this is Brian Linhart, School Counselor at Buffalo Grove High School, and this is information about a course request for ninth graders. I had realized after an email from a parent that I hadn't in the past thought about that for our ninth grade families and students. This is a whole new experience for you if you haven't had a sibling or a friend go through Buffalo Grove. So, my goal is by the end of this presentation, you have a better idea of what the process looks like, what we do, and probably most important to everyone here, how do you know and confirm what classes you're requesting for next year? So, with that, again, I'm Brian Linhart. I am your counselor. This is my contact info, and you'll see at the bottom there is a link for our counselor's webpage, links.d214.org/bgcounselors, and there is a dedicated section for course requests called Course Information. So we'll reference that later in this presentation, but just wanted to make sure that's out there, as well as my virtual office, which has a lot of good information. So let's get started. First off, when are you going to meet with me to work on your classes? Well, you're going to come down with your Human Geo or AP Human Geo class in December. Your teachers already have a schedule of who's coming down when. They'll let you know. You'll come down to the College and Career Center. You'll hang out in there. There'll be a presentation from a counselor, either myself or someone else. And then one by one, you'll come back and see me. Now, what happens if you are absent? What happens if I am absent? What happens if I have a lot of students that period and I'm not able to meet with you? Well, you then are going to go to my scheduling website, brianlinhart.com/meeting, and you're going to, on the bottom, you'll see where these arrows are pointing. There's a dedicated section called Course Request Reschedule. You're going to click on that and you will set up a different time to meet with me that works in your schedule and my schedule. Now, please, as you see with the red letters on the bottom, please don't set up this meeting until after we have missed our time to meet, or if I have emailed you to tell you I'm not going to be there when your class is, right? So don't set up meetings, because we will meet for sure. So now that we got that, what does a 10th grade schedule typically look like? So these are in no particular order, obviously. I just listed them 1 through 8. Everyone will take World Lit or Honors World Lit. You'll see some asterisks next to World History, AP World History, Chemistry, Honors Chemistry. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Take a math class. You'll take PE waiver, or health. Usually what happens is one semester you take health, one semester you take PE or have your waiver. You'll have 2 electives and then your study hall that everyone has. So why do we have those asterisks next to World History and the chemistry options? Well, because technically, World History and Chemistry are not graduation requirements. To meet the graduation requirements for social sciences, you only need 2 years of a social science, 1 year needs to be of U.S. history, and then you need to get 1 semester of civics, which you will get with your Human Geo class. Science, you only need 2 years of a science class, so it could be bio, chemistry, apes, something like that. Although I will say the overwhelming majority of students do take World History or AP World History and Chemistry or Honors Chemistry, because chances are your post-secondary plans, whatever they may be, if they are continuing to a 4-year university, if they are going to a 2-year college or Harper or something like that, if they're going to a trade school, the majority of places will want 3 years of a social science, 3 years of a science class. So that's why we kind of assume everyone's going to take it. For example, my class of 2028, so that my sophomores I just met with, there were only 4 students on my entire caseload that did not take World History, and we had to set up meetings individually. So I would strongly encourage you to take both of those, but again, the reason they have asterisks is because they are not necessarily graduation requirements. They could count towards graduation requirements if you happen to be short in a science class or social science class, but just something to keep in mind. The other thing I want to talk about is PE waivers. So who can have a PE waiver? Students competing in an IHSA sport, you can have it for that season. Students participating in marching band, and students with a medical excusal or something stated on their IEP or 504 specifically to PE. Now again, if you are an athlete, it has to be an IHSA sport. It can't be that you do a club sport or something outside of school. And along with that, it is only for the season you compete in. So for example, if you are on the girls volleyball team and that is the only sport you play, you can have a PE waiver first semester, but not second semester. And something that is changing for next year is that every student with a PE waiver gets an extra study hall. Okay, so you do not just have your one study hall that everyone gets, and then you can get an additional class. So if you have a PE waiver, you will have 2 study halls on your schedule. That is a new district policy that we just found out about. If you do not want 2 study halls, then you will have a PE class and not take a PE waiver, and then the study hall that everyone gets. So I want to make sure we are all clear with that. So now the graduation requirements. These are important too. What do you need to do to graduate? So we all know the magic number is 21. You need 21 credits to graduate, but getting to that 21, there are a couple buckets you got to drop a coin in. There are some boxes you got to check, whatever you want to use to remember that. So you need 4 years of English. And when you see credit, 1 credit equals 2 semesters or 1 year. Okay, so 4 years of English, 3 years of math, with 1 of those being algebra, 1 of those being geometry, 2 years of science, we talked about that, 2 years of social science, one year of U.S. history and covering civics, which you'll do in human geo. PE and health, you need to be enrolled in a PE class each semester that you are not taking health or have a PE waiver. The key term there is enrolled. You don't have to necessarily pass those classes. For fine arts and consumer ed, you'll see they're all a little different, because for those, it doesn't matter how many credits you get, it matters the class you take. So for example, with fine arts, if you take dance for PE, that is 0.25 credit, and that will count and fulfill your fine arts requirement. If you take art 1 or graphic arts and design, you have to pass the entire year of the class in order to get the credit. Same thing with consumer ed. You could either take our consumer education class, which is actually our only 9-week class in the district, so you take it for 9 weeks, then get extra study hall, or you could take a class called personal finance that is a semester long, or you can take AP Econ, which is a year long. So we will make sure to cover those and make sure you're meeting the requirements. And then lastly, the other thing that sometimes confuses students is they think you need 2 years of a world language in order to graduate. Technically, you do not. You only need 1 year of a world language or a career and technical education class, or a CTE class. You might be saying to yourself, what are CTE classes? Those are classes in our business department, our education department, our culinary arts department, our project lead the way engineering department, our IT department, things like that. So different classes that are specific towards a career. Now, when it comes to planning for life after high school, again, it is different than our graduation requirement when it comes to world languages. Actually, let me skip to the next slide because we have something on our website that goes over this. There are differences, subtle differences, but there are a couple of differences between what a graduation requirement is and what a college admissions requirement is. So if you are right now thinking, I know we haven't even finished our first half of our first year of school, of high school, but if you have in your mind, like, hey, you know what, a 4-year university right after BG might be an option for me, you definitely want to check this out, because depending on what type of schools or depending on what you're doing, they will have different requirements. The big one that students always ask about is world language. Most colleges or universities are going to want you to have at least 2 years of a world language. And like I said, at BG or District 214, there is no specific world language requirement. It's either a world language or a CTE class. So I would definitely say give that a look, and that could help pick what's going on. That could help influence some of your classes that you're going to choose. So now the big part: how do I know what classes my student requested? This is really for the parents and guardians on this that are watching this. So at the end of January, every student at BG is every parent or guardian is going to get an email about something in the parent portal. You are not going to get the requests emailed to you. You will get emailed that the requests are in your parent portal on Infinite Campus. So if you haven't set that up, I would definitely check your email for an email from our tech department to set up your parent portal. If you can't find it or you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely call BG and ask to talk to our tech department. They can help you out with that. The other thing, and this is just specific for my students, is when I meet with you guys, I'm going to create a Google folder for every one of my students that I share with them. This is going to have all the documents we share together. And this is going to, I recommend to students once I share it with them that they star it so that it's a quick access. Now, right now, I'm still working on making my freshman folder, so you haven't gotten it yet. But what's going to be in that Google Drive folder? Well, there's going to be a bunch of things eventually. There's going to be a transcript, there's going to be a graduation check, and a 4-year plan. Now, for y'all, your transcript's not going to be in there yet because you don't have a transcript yet. Right? We only transcribe grades at the end of each semester. So after first semester, when we start second semester, I'll find some time to pull your transcript and put a copy in your folder. But you'll also be able to access this in Infinite Campus, but I like trying to make things easy. So the two things we're going to talk about today are your graduation check and your 4-year plan. And parents and guardians, I am telling you this so that after your student and I meet, you could ask them, hey, can you show me that Google Drive folder that Dr. Linhart made, so you can know what classes we've requested, what our 4-year plan is, or you can just wait till you get that email in January. But the first thing is a graduation check. So I make this Google Sheet, and really with this, I am just looking at classes that I can count towards graduation. I am not looking at every single class. So I'm looking at the 4 credits of English. I'm looking at the 4 years of PE with health. I'm looking at the 3 years of math with a year of algebra, a year of geometry. I'm looking at the 2 years of social science. The 2 years of science. I'm looking at the 2 years of social science with AP Human Geo, with at least the Human Geo credit and the U.S. History credit. I'm looking for either a CTE or a World Language class. Fine Arts, this student took Art Survey, so they only needed a semester. Consumer Ed, they knocked out Consumer Ed first semester. On the bottom, I'm keeping track of total number of credits. We want students at a minimum, to earn 5 credits each school year. That is a safe number to keep students on pace to get to that magic number of 21. If any of these numbers in second semester are, like after 9th grade, if it's below 5, if after 10th grade it's below 10, and if after 11th grade it's below 15, it will be highlighted with red text to let us know we're a little bit behind. And then on the right, these are just some tasks that students have to do that aren't necessarily classes. Got to pass the unit of civics, got to pass the Constitution test, got to pass the state test ACT, and have to complete their FAFSA. A lot of these are not till later on in high school, so those boxes won't be checked for a while. So this is just a graduation check, just something that's easy and going to be visual, something easy to follow along. With my 9th grade students, really all you're going to see is in progress for like all those first lines, because I don't like putting things until they're either started or completed, just so we can keep a visual track of things. So then we have the 4-year plan. So what's good? You'll be able to, this is in the My App section of Infinite Campus, but it's not the prettiest to look at. So what's going to happen is, before we meet, I am going to generate a 4-year plan based on the classes you're in now, based on the courses your teachers have recommended, and then from when we met for our freshman core, if you told me a career you're interested in, trying to plug in some of those pathway classes. Now, this is not written in blood or stone. This is just digital. This is just to give us sort of a skeleton to get organized with things. You'll notice at the top with this student, I have in orange on the upper left 1/19 course requests. So this was the date that her and I met for course requests, so that she knows everything down here on the bottom that is in orange is because of that meeting. If you look at purple, when we met for on 8/20, she had an extra study hall. We wanted to get rid of one of those first semester and add the criminal and civil law. So when I create this for you, I like to write in different colors so that you know why things have changed. I never want you to look at your course request or your schedule and say, why is this class there? I want you to always know what's going on, okay? And that's really it. So just to kind of recap, when do we meet? We're going to meet in December during your Human Geo class. And what happens if we don't meet? You're going to set up that meeting with me on my meeting website. Graduation requirements and after BG requirements, right? What do I need to do to graduate? If I already have an idea of something I'm thinking about doing after BG, what are the differences between what I have to do and what they're going to want? And then lastly, where do I see my requests? Where do I see my graduation requirements? Parents and guardians, you will get the notification about the parent portal when that is up in January. Students and parents, if you want to ask them, you will have a Google Drive folder that I create for you that will have all of our documents. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to shoot me an email. Feel free to reach out to me. Students, I would strongly encourage, and parents and guardians, I would encourage you to encourage your students that before we meet, you take a look at that website, links.d214.org/BG counselors. You look at course information so that this way we can have a little more of a productive conversation. Nothing is worse than when we get our English, math, science, social science, study hall, PE class, and I say, what else are you interested in? What else are we thinking about? And the answer is, So definitely take a look at that, get some information. Actually, on that page, there is in the bottom right-hand corner on the main page and on the bottom right-hand corner of the course information page, there's actually an AI chatbot I created so you could ask it questions. But again, it is AI, so you might get some hallucinations, but it at least can give you a general idea of stuff. So hopefully this helps. Looking forward to meeting with you. And if you have any questions, reach out. Have a good day.